Woo! All right. That was Burl Ives. Do y'all remember Burl Ives? My parents had Burl Ives, and apparently he only sang at Christmas because that's the only time we ever heard Burl Ives, but he sang at Christmas time. Welcome, everybody, to the Center of Unity. We are so thrilled that you are here today. We are excited about a little bit of cool weather right before Christmas time. I think this is going to be it, folks. I think as we head into Christmas, it's going to be Bermuda shorts and tank tops again. But that is what it is here in Texas. If you're joining us online, we want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. If you'd just put a note in there and let us know that you're here with us today and joining us in worship and song, we're excited. So we are going into Christmas, and it's the final week at our house. Big anticipation. The kids are very excited that we're almost there. And things are happening in my house. The leaves are getting raked. The cabinets are being cleaned. If anybody needs any extra work, you're more than welcome to call me because the kids are doing all of it. What, are we doing something there on the TV? Oh, okay, there we go. It wasn't muted. There you go. All right, but we got it now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here. So now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, "Where is he who was born the King of the Jews? For we have seen the star in the east and have come to worship him." And the star went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and they worshiped him. And when they had opened up their treasures, they presented gifts to him of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. All right, we're going to sing this one all together. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. From God our heavenly Father, a blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds brought tidings of the same, how that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God by name. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts, we travel so far. Fields and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding. Guide us to thy perfect light. Guide us to thy perfect light.
Give yourselves a hand.
So we've lit the candle for faith and received that gift. We've lit the candle for peace and received the gift of peace. Last week we lit the candle for love. And this morning we are focused on the joy of this season. I'm not on? Okay. This way. Is that okay? All right. Well, you probably guessed, for those who couldn't hear at home, we just lit all 4 Advent candles, and this morning we're celebrating joy. You know, as Jeff mentioned, we've probably not going to have a snowy Christmas. It looks, according to our forecast, that is not going to be happening, but we've had Jack Frost nipping at our noses this morning to give us a little feel for this Christmas season. Today, we are celebrating all of the gifts that this holy season brings to each of us when we're open and when we say yes to receiving them. And we certainly hope that you will come and receive the beautiful gift we are offering on Christmas Eve at the Congregation Beth Israel. We're going to be practicing. We've got a full, beautiful candlelight service scheduled for you. I'm so grateful to all of those who had said yes to participating in this. We are doing a 12 Powers, and we've got 12 different people lighting the candles, as well as many musicians. And I also just want to say this morning how grateful I am to both Jeff and Stephen, who always say yes, especially at the last minute. Noelle was supposed to be here with us today and was not able to. So yesterday, they pulled together a beautiful musical special opportunity for you to enjoy later today. We're so grateful for all of those joining us online. I see Karen and Kristen and Julie and Peggy and Gigi and Julie Ann. And I'm sure there's many more out there joining us. So we're glad you're here today for this next hour. I know this season is really busy right now for a lot of people. As Jeff was talking about, there's huge amounts of activity going on. And I would imagine for many of you, there's lots of different activities and there's lots of different things to do. But for this next hour, I'm just going to invite you just to breathe, to be present, and to receive. So let's just take a moment and center ourselves into this time, into this space, and into this opportunity to really open ourselves to that ever-present God presence, that light that is within us, that is all around us, that we look to for rebirth and renewal and new possibilities in this coming year. We are grateful for the ways in which we are born anew as we move through this holy season, for the gifts that we are all receiving. We say thank you. Thank you, God. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're studying Principle 2. The divinity is in all humankind. Jesus was not the exception, rather the example. Today's core value is prosperity. And I'm not going to go over it with you because I'm going to read a quote from Eric Butterworth. He says, "We live in an opulent universe. Supply and success are a rightful inheritance. Prosperity manifests not by asking God for more, but by conditioning our minds through prayer to accept more of God's good. God is my all-sufficient resource, my instant, constant, and abundant supply." Today's daily word is joy. I feel fully alive and joyous. I feel the joy of God in me as gentle spring bubbling up within my heart and bringing energy to all I do. This reassuring feeling is a sure sign that I am living in harmony with my true spiritual identity. I discover joy by connecting with the Christ within. As I become a greater conduit, I find renewed kindness and love to share this holiday season. I express compassionate love as I align my heart with the great heart of God, which beats with a steady rhythm of joy. I share joy through selfless service. Every day offers an opportunity to make a difference by lifting up others with a considerate gesture or a quiet word. Each set of kindness fills my heart with joy. From Isaiah 51:3, for the Lord will comfort Zion. Joy and gladness will be found in her thanksgiving and the voice of song.
Thank you, Bob and Band. So, as we gather on this fourth Sunday of Advent, we come to celebrate joy, the gift of joy that comes from the Christ child awakening in each of us. Joy, as it's defined in Webster's dictionary, speaks about a feeling of great pleasure or happiness. And yet, that's not the kind of spiritual joy that we're calling forth this holiday season. Joy, in a spiritual sense, is a celebration of simply being alive. It is the celebration of being this conduit for which we get to express God's love through us. It is joy that continues to awaken within us.
Awakening joy. I think about a joy that comes from really deep inside. I think about a joy that comes from not what's going on out here, but it's a joy that we have a reserve for inside. That no matter what is going on in our life, no matter if there's been a tragedy or a catastrophic illness, or if there's been an unforeseen circumstance that is painful, that there is a place that we can crawl inside of within ourselves. It doesn't sound natural. In fact, it sounds counterintuitive, because in our world, we are so used to joy being externally based. But when we can pull joy from inside, and we can feel from inside this gladness of life, this gratitude, a connection even to spirit, the living spirit that we are, there is a joy that cannot be quenched. That's awakening joy.
Yes, that awakening joy is part of our journey. to birthing, to giving a newness to our own inner Christ child. And it can be challenging at times. And yet, what I want each of you to hear is that there is a well of deep joy available within each of us that we can step into, that we can bring ourselves into that place where we can find that comfort and even that joy, no matter what the circumstances are. I imagine that the journey to Bethlehem was a difficult one, both physically and mentally, and probably to some extent even spiritually. Think about it. Mary is 9 months pregnant. When they're told that they have to travel to Bethlehem, which is the birthplace of Joseph, some 70 miles away. And the only way to travel in those days was by foot, or if you were lucky, on a donkey, or perhaps a camel. The journey, as those who have mapped this, likely took a week or more. Even at best, walking 20 miles, I would imagine they had to do slightly less when Mary was in that state of discomfort. For those of you who have experienced pregnancy or even been around a woman who was in her final stages of giving birth, you know it's not necessarily a pleasant experience. And I'm imagining this was true for both Mary and her traveling companion. Yet for both Mary and Joseph, they had a faith, and I imagine a peace about them because they had been visited, they had been assured by angels, both as a vision in front of them and as a dream that they received, that gave them the faith to know that this journey was more about just giving birth to a child. It would give birth to a greater awakening of love, of peace, and yes, even joy, and not just for them, but for the whole world. They lived, I imagine, from a place of trust that God was guiding their way. In our own lives, we might encounter moments where more strength and stamina is required, and we also are often called to have that deep trust that God is guiding our journey also. Whether it's navigating a challenge or moving through loss, which often seems to happen around the holidays. I haven't figured that one out yet, but does seem to be the way it unfolds. Or overcoming a health issue, if we keep returning our focus and our thoughts, our hearts, to this place of trusting God as our guide, then we get to experience that sense of awakening joy. Children are often a great reminder of this because they seem to be just a wellspring of joy. And even in their moments of unhappiness, they don't seem to last long. All you have to do is a little distraction, and the joy returns almost immediately. For us, part of our journey is allowing our own inner child to come out and play, to giving our own inner child the freedom that even in those difficult times to breathe and let that child be distracted, if you will, be refocused on something that once again brings joy into our hearts and into our minds. Sometimes it almost seems counterintuitive to do that because there's so many things to be done. Who has time to just let our inner child come out and play? And yet, when we take the time and when we can delight in playing, it reconnects us with that deep sense of faith. It allows us and expands those infinite realm of possibilities that a child always seems to be tuned into. You know, you don't ask a child, what they want to be and just come up with one answer, and that's what they're going to be for the rest of their life. For a child, there are infinite possibilities of what the future holds. In fact, more often than not, they'll tell you, well, I want to be an astronaut and a doctor, and then I want to, travel on a boat around the world. They can give you a whole list of things, and we nod, and yet as adults, oftentimes we forget that we are also playing in that same field of infinite possibilities. Our inner child reconnects us with that sense of joy and wonder, that joy in knowing that we live in an abundant universe, the joy that comes from knowing that we are loved and we are blessed. In Luke 2:10, as the Christ child is being born into the world, angels appear and say, "Do not be afraid. For see, I am bringing you good news of great joy, and it's for all the people." In this season of joy, take a moment and remember the angels in your life who also are seeking to bring great tidings of joy. Friends, family, perhaps even strangers who have brought light into the dark times of your life. Metaphysically, angels are messengers from God. They speak the word of truth and help us to overcome limited beliefs and conditions. That's their purpose in our lives. I know for me, there have been angels who have offered a safe place when I've been afraid. There have been angels who showed me kindness and care when I was in despair and encouraged me to step out into the unknown. I have lots of those angels that remind me that it's okay to step out, even if you don't know exactly what you're stepping out into. So instead of listening to the world that tells me that I'm enough, perhaps at times tells you that you're not enough, that I'm flawed, that I am not loved, I choose to listen to the angels in my life that bring tidings of great joy. It's joy that can come simply by recognizing the gift of life. It's something we take for granted, but just to be here on this planet and alive and breathing is cause for celebration. To honor and to give thanks that we get to be co-creators in this life. We're not just here wandering about. We have a power within us that allows us to create the kind of world that we want to be in. Joy, as we remember that each moment is new and pregnant with possibilities. So my question for you this morning, and this is going to be an interactive question, so you may speak once you know what the question is. And those of you who are watching us live stream, you can type into the comment line and share with us your response. How often do you take and set aside time to honor your own life? List the ways that you make a difference. How many of you have ever made a list of the ways that you've made a difference in this life? So we're going to start this morning, and I want you to be able to share with me one way your life has made a positive difference in the world. Speak up. Yes. Volunteer at the hospital. Who else? When you teach. Susan. Oh, so she loves the planet and in organic gardening. Who else? PJ. That's the key. She says that her positive difference is that she's raised two wonderful, self-sustaining adult children. Harry. So Harry makes a difference by volunteering 2 days a week and cooking for the homeless. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to look at those in just a minute. I'm going to try and get those in here, and then I'll share with those who are sharing with us through our live stream. Yes, Susan. Sue. So the love that she shares and has for her counseling practice and clients. Yes. Ah, yes. So she's made a positive difference by helping people find their lost cats. And that's one of our youngest children is our beautiful cat. So thank you for that. And let's see what Bonnie says her recovery and supporting others. Being an occupational therapist is Kristen. Gigi says, I've never sat down to think about it nor list, but I will. Thank you. Okay. Well, you're going to make a positive difference just by really thinking about and scribing how you've made a positive difference in the world. This is part of the joy. We have to sit and oftentimes remind ourselves of the ways in which we impact the world. Our focus tends to go to the ways that we haven't been enough, that we haven't done enough, that we haven't, impacted enough. And yet, if we really think about it, there's lots of ways that we really impact not only our lives, but the planet. So we're going to take this process of honoring our own lives and honoring the angels in our lives who walk this journey with us as we move into a time of meditation. So I just invite you right where you are to get comfortable, to set aside anything you might be holding on to feel your feet planted firmly on the ground, and even imagine that there are roots growing out of the bottom of your feet, deeply connecting you with Mother Earth. The energy of the earth that also is an angel that supports each and every one of us. With the air that we breathe, with the food that nourishes our bodies, with the soil that allows for things to grow. We are deeply connected to that same soil that gives us the support we need to continue to grow. And we also connect, almost envisioning out of our heads, there is a stream of light that connects us with the world in which we cannot see, the world of spirit. And we feel and know that that world, that universe, is also supporting us each step of the way, giving us what we need as we walk this human journey as a spiritual being. We focus for a moment on our heart space, that physical organ of the heart that is what nourishes our physical being, pumping that life energy of blood through every part of our body. And it is also our spiritual home, for it is the center of love, the very energy from which we've been created and which we are here to express. And into this center of our being, we take a moment just to give thanks and feel a sense of gratitude for all of the blessings in our lives, for all of the angels who have walked this journey with us. We include those closest to us, but in this expanded space, I also invite you to include everyone that passes through your mind's eye. Whether it was someone who held the door for you or smiled in a moment where you were struggling. All of those little touch points which remind us of how connected we are. And imagine that there is this joy simply in this remembering, bubbling up from a well deep within you, a well that never runs dry. Call it into its fullness, into your heart space. Let it overflow into all of your body until it spills out into the room where you are. That energy of joy that becomes infectious as we call it forth and share it with others. See it multiplying more rapidly than any virus could ever do, and infecting everyone on the planet right now, for all things are possible. This morning, this week, this holy season of Christmas, there is joy awakening in hearts, in minds, in souls, all over this world. And we celebrate that we get to be a part of and to play a small role in reminding people that joy is ever present. We just need to receive it and to share it. And finally, just in your mind's eye, think of one thing, one additional thing if you've already spoken one out loud, or just one thing that you know you've made a positive difference, that you have added your light into this world. And feel the joy of that. And as you begin to take that joy back into this time, into this space, into the awareness of this room, the awareness of the feet on the floor, the heart as it beats faithfully, and the heart of love as it's ever present. Allow yourself to let that joy guide this day. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. You know, especially during these holiday activities, all the busyness, there can be a whole host of emotions that we experience. And some of those might be moments of sadness, especially as we remember and more acutely miss those loved ones who may no longer be physically with us. And it's good to feel your emotions, but what I like to remind people is just don't pitch your tent there. Let them move through you as all other emotions can move through you. And then remember the truth that there is no time or space that separates us in spirit. And even in those moments where we're remembering those who we don't necessarily have that same physical connection with, and it may just be that they're distant this holiday season, feel a sense of joy if you can in remembering that they're present with us. I believe that with every fiber of my being. They are right here in our midst, just in a different form. and they are aware and they celebrate every moment with us. They whisper encouragement in those moments when we're still. We might even be able to feel or to hear their presence with us. And they certainly rejoice in every stride that we make in contributing our love and our light to the greater unfolding plan, that plan that calls us to be a light into our world when there's darkness. There may be some, I know I've certainly had Christmases where it's challenging to connect to that spiritual joy. And as we remember those angels who have blessed us, those who are here with us, those who may be in spirit, we can really begin to engage in and remind ourselves of how connected we are through God's love and light. And even better, to find ways to become God's love and light.
When I was a kid, I thought it was silly when somebody said you gotta have heart, because everybody's got a heart. Now that I'm older, I kinda get it. It just means being kind to each other. That's important, because scientists say being kind is good for your heart. And those guys are kinda smart, so it's gotta be true. So, if you want to take care of your heart, doing nice things will help. Grown-ups have a hard time doing that because they're always talking on the phone, complaining about traffic, and drinking coffee, and other stuff like that. That's why I'm going to show you some ways to be kind without even trying that hard. It'll be good for your heart. If you're in a drive-thru, pay for the car behind you. Free food, how cool is that? If you see somebody drop something, pick it up and give it back to them. They might really need it. Unless it's a piece of trash, don't give that back. That's gross. Just pick it up and throw it away. Leave a good tip. I could probably use it. Smile at people when they drive by. Smiling is contagious. Be kind to yourself. Enjoy a piece of art. Dance break. Let somebody go ahead of you in the line. Get some treats and take them to people who keep us safe. Just don't give a donut to a cop. No matter what anybody says, they don't like that. Leave a nice note on somebody's car. They'll be glad it's not a ticket. Think good thoughts for somebody who's not feeling good. You can even be nice to your little brother because it's good to be kind to everybody. See, it's not so hard to show you got heart. If I can do it, anybody can. So go out and do something nice. And when you do, tell us about it so we can share it with the world. It will do your heart good all year round.
I'm glad I get to follow that. We're going to do a dance break. Y'all ready? Everybody stand and dance. All right, let's try this.
Oh, well, look at them. They're coming up. They're going to take us seriously. Let's do it.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let all their songs implore, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plain, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. Repeat, repeat the sounding joy. Joy, unspeakable joy, an overflowing well, no tongue can tell. Joy, unspeakable joy, it rises in my soul, never lets me go. Heal the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. Joy, unspeakable joy, an overflowing well, no tongue can tell. Joy, unspeakable joy, rises in my soul, never lets me go. Joy, unspeakable joy, joy, unspeakable joy.
Well, I don't know about you at home, but we were all standing up in here and swaying away to the music. So hope you got a chance to have a little dancing time too, wherever you are. And if not now, then do it sometime in the next week. Just put some tunes on and dance. I guarantee you it will lift your spirits. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our good with this community. We are solely funded by the people of this spiritual community, and we are so grateful for the many ways in which you support us. However you choose to give, see if you can't give from that place of joy, from that place of knowing that you live in a universe that supports you, that is pulling for you, that is bringing you all that you need so that you can be that full expression of the Christ here on earth. We give thanks, we bless it, and we know that it blesses all that we do. So join with me as we bless these gifts together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. We encourage you to pick up an affirmation to take with you and bless you this week. And if you're watching us via the live stream, you can go to centerofunity.org to our give page, and then you can scroll down and there's also affirmations available for you online. And I think, what are we going to do? What are we doing now? What's next? Oh, we should welcome our guests. Who's welcoming our guests today? Susan is. Yay. Come on up.
If you're watching us for the first time, we're glad you've chosen to join us. We invite you to visit our website and fill out a Connect card. If you're local, we invite you to visit us in person. If you're visiting us in person for the first time, please complete a visitor card found on the table with the offering basket and drop it in the basket or leave it at the front, at the visitor desk in the front. We welcome all of you. Now it's my great pleasure to share on y'all's behalf our appreciation for Stephen Thornton. Stephen has been singing on stage with us in our choir for many years. He entertains us as part of the praise team, and to our delight, he's a terrific solo vocalist. His commitment doesn't end there. When Jeff Holland isn't available, he steps in to select music and lead a glorious musical experience for us all. Stephen, for all you do, we love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you. Namaste.
Here's what's coming up at Center of Unity. We'll be hosting our Christmas Eve candlelighting service at Congregation Beth Israel in Colleyville, so invite your friends and family to come be swept away by the joy of the season and celebrate the birth of the Christ child this Christmas Eve. Congregation Beth Israel does require Mass for all attendees. We're still in need of a service coordinator for this service. The service coordinator ensures other volunteers are in place or finds a last-minute replacement if necessary. They will also assist Reverend Linda and the setup team as necessary. In addition, we also need a couple more volunteers to help set up and decorate. Please let Mary Salerno know if you're available to help. Now through the end of the year, plaques on the Tree of Life will be available at a 25% discount. Fill out a Tree of Life card at the church, contact Mary Salerno, or visit our website and fill out the online order form. Join us in Fellowship Hall as Gigi Johnson leads the Burning Bowl ceremony. At this powerful ceremony, we will focus on the symbolic release of what no longer serves you or never did and make room in our life for the good. Come release negativity and welcome new beginnings in 2022 this New Year's Eve at 11:30 a.m. There are multiple ways you can make a donation to Center of Unity. You can drop your donation off at the church, mail it to our P.O. Box, visit our website, use the COU or Venmo app, or you can text to give. Your continued support is greatly appreciated.
That part about volunteers for the Christmas Eve service, because everything we have got to load in, I mean, we're going into a space that we've got to get into and get out of by 5:30. So, I mean, it's like going to be quick and dirty. So if you have a little time to volunteer, we could sure use your help. Why don't we all stand up and let's do our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And as we go into this day, into this week, with awakening joy in our hearts, we go knowing our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a wonderful week. Hope we see you on Friday, 4 o'clock.